seeing that we're needing to borrow earlier and earlier every year?
I'm sorry.
Am I seeing that we need to borrow earlier and earlier every year?
We usually, I mean, last year our borrowing was in March, and the need for the borrowing was March. I do seem to recall a year when it might have been early April, but it's usually this time of the year that we end up having to arrange for the borrowing so that it's in place in time for anticipated need.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think for people that have been around as long as I have, which isn't a long time, but in 2005 on, when I was here, typically it was done as part of the, immediately following the resolution to approve the budget. And there's a particular reason, but last year we did it before the budget, which is not the way it's supposed to be done. Any other questions, comments? Motion for motion?
Mr. Chairman, and please forgive my voice. I may lose it, but I'm going to try not to. I motion to give the Belknap County Treasurer, Michael Muzzy, authorization to borrow in anticipation of revenue through taxation in the amount of $10 million, and to be effective only upon passage of the budget with sufficient appropriations to redeem the TAN.
You got the motion?
Well, some of it.
So would you like me to reread it?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Motion to give the Belknap County Treasurer, Michael Muzzy, authorization to borrow in anticipation of revenue through taxation in the amount of $10 million to be effective only upon passage of the 2014 budget with sufficient appropriations to redeem the TAN.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I'll point out that from a pretty good authority, this was then Representative Thomas made that motion, the first part of it, because it was done right after the budget. The second was to cover us. In other words, it will be effective if we pass this, and then if the budget is passed. Comment, question?
My only question was going to be if that's what it meant, and so we will hope that you get the budget passed before we run out of cash? Because,
We have no authority to borrow if we don't have a budget.
well, I understand you don't believe that, although bond counsel, who is responsible, does believe and has to certify that you do.
Well, I tell you what, I don't have any thing in front of me from bond counsel.
Okay.
I'm reading the RSA, and that's basically the custom that was done by Belknap County, making sure that we had the budget with enough appropriation to be able to validate it. The RSA actually gives you authority to borrow, but you've got to have, in essence, collateral or something. You've got to borrow against something, not the budget. But it's the best procedure is to have a budget.
I mean, in the past, historically, before I became the treasurer, I know that it was the standard practice to tie the dollar amount of the request to the exact amount of the tax appropriation, dollar amount of the budget, which in that particular case, it would make sense that you would want to make sure that that budget was passed with that amount of an appropriation coming from taxes. What we've been doing of late is really looking at what we expect our actual cash flow to be and requesting only enough to cover that. So I know there's been a review of several iterations of the budget this year, and I don't believe that any of those have come anywhere near setting an amount to be collected from taxes as low as 10, I think they're all in the 13 to $14 million range. So I think we just felt that setting it, the need at 10 million would be sufficiently below any anticipated change in that number so that so that would not exceed whatever that dollar amount ended up being.
I understand.
Because the issue is
But
Deborah.
no matter how much we've been talking about, we've yet to appropriate anything
Right.
for taxes.
Well, then,
Until we
you know-
do, the fact that we, and I agree, that back in, what we were using just for the resolution was from 2006, when you were deputy treasurer, and it was in the neighborhood of 13 million, and 2007 was 12 million. So it's only 10 million, that's pretty darn close. We still have to have a budget or appropriation. We don't have 10 million in unfunded. I mean, we wouldn't need it if we had the budget, or didn't have the, what I'm saying is if we didn't need the appropriation, we wouldn't need the TAM. So by tying it, to making sure it's not effective, we're not violating the RSA.
Okay.
Only violating that we're running out of money.
I mean, the only challenge is that if we run out of money, we can't pay the bills, so.
That's,
Not your concern.
you can't pay a bill if you don't have authority. Put it that way.
We're
And we
doing,
can't, and we
doing it now.
borrow.
We don't have a budget
We
for
borrow
this.
without authority, that doesn't cut it either. In either case, you're
I think they've
damned.
done all they could do for us.
Okay, let's call a question. All those in favor of the motion as expressed by Representative Wood, please raise your hand. It's unanimous, anybody opposed? Unanimous. Motion carries.
Who's the second?
Greenwald. Is there any other business for the committee? Move to adjourn? All in favor? Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you anyway. We'll give it to David. Plus their motion was
There you go.
Croc TV.